Full disclaimer, I love Auburn. They have massively high stakes. That's a fan base that has been through the ringer, I think, since Hugh Freeze has gotten there, since before Hugh Freeze got there with Brian Harsin. The roster is no longer the point of conversation, for me at least. Like, yes, you could say, well, we like to have a guy at this position, on that position, more depth here. The roster, from a pure, like, stars perspective, is no longer what you are trying to have a qualifying conversation about. You're no longer talking about the vehicle. Here's the thing, man. You look borderline silly stalling out in a Ferrari. Because at that point, it's user error. It's the driver now. And that's kind of the conversation around Hugh Freeze right now, who I root for openly. This gets a lot more real for Auburn if you don't have the success you expect to have. And the success that I expect them to have is right around 8 wins, okay? So I'm not calling for them to go win 11 games and be a team that has a bye in the first round of the college football playoff, right? You can tell I'm worked up about this. The reason why we talk about this for Auburn in regards to, success they need to have in 2025 is because there is more and more factors that I think you solve for every given year that continue to point back to Hugh Freeze of like, all right, you got to be right here. You know what I'm saying? Like a year ago, if you're an Auburn fan, you're like, well, Peyton Thorne. Peyton Thorne was the problem. Peyton Thorne is why we did not have success. Peyton Thorne is not there. You got a 5-star guy in Jackson Arnold. Well, JD, not experienced enough. A lot of young guys, a lot of talented guys, but guys that haven't played college football before. There's got to be some past there, right? Yeah, there is. Not this year. Top 25 in returning production are the Auburn Tigers. Well, but JD, it's different. We switched play callers because it was, it was Phil Montgomery, but now it's Hugh Freeze, and we're trying to get that. That's not the case anymore either. Not the case on defense in DJ Durkin's squad. Like, you have continuity on the staff. So you see where I'm going with this. The more boxes you check, or you tell me are checked in the preseason, the more I point to Hugh Freeze and say, all right, baby, let's go win now. We're not having a qualifying conversation here this time next year. The thing with Auburn, speaking to the roster too, like, you don't have to squint to see them being a team that actually does have a special season. Like, Auburn's offense is Swiss miss. You know what I'm saying? Like, just add water. Just add water. That's all you need. Just add 5-star Jackson Arnold, a 5-star Jackson Arnold, like, caliber profile. Auburn has no other question marks. Would you like the running back room to be a little bit better? Sure. But we're having 10% conversations now, 10% difference conversations now. Receivers are ridiculous. Offensive line is great. Hugh Freeze is, I think, a great offensive mind, contrary to maybe the narrative out there on the social media world. If Jackson Arnold doesn't crash this car, doesn't turn the ball over, Auburn's going to be not just like fine. They're going to be really good. Be very, very good. So on the flip side of that, speaking of the stakes, that's the upside. The downside is Auburn has been recruiting so well for so long over the course, I say for so long, really since Hugh Freeze has gotten there. They've recruited at a high level if you go check what they've done on National Signing Day. I know there's some panic and some strife right now. Let's talk in December. There's been, I think, like some magic pixie dust they've been able to sprinkle a little bit because you've been able to pitch like, hey, this is where we're going. Hey, we're going to have you play early. Hey, like this is the vision for Auburn. At a certain point, if you don't have success this year, I'm talking like you don't win 8 games this year, I worry about that pixie dust running out just a little bit. And when that runs out, you're stuck with the roster you have. Or you're going to the portal and trying to, let's call a spade here, try to go buy some talent, which you still could do. But I would love to see Auburn go win 8 games, go win 9, 10 games. And if you were recruiting how you're recruiting when you miss a bowl game, flirting with the top 10, in the top 10, like what can you do when you go win that many games? How high is Auburn finishing at that point in time? So massive stakes for Auburn. Thing could swing either way very, very quickly, but you're not talking about roster talent anymore. You're talking about execution. You're talking about Saturday stuff, I think is the best way to put it. Not talking about where we're recruiting. You're talking about, okay, how do we execute on that Saturday? Because we got the players.